Well, hello again. So today I thought we'd just have a quick chat about a small printed circuit build I made, and I'll perhaps go into the reason why I made it and what it does, and then we can sort of demonstrate it and so on. Basically, it's a PTT isolator, okay, and it runs off 12 volts. Let me just try to remember. This is the schematic that I normally provide with it, and it includes a 7 amp polyfuse, and you'll see why that 7 amps and not some minor, 100 milliamps soon. But basically, it allows you to, if you can see over here, it has 3 inputs, and these are all isolated via diodes. So you could have one. You could perhaps have 2 peripheral devices in your shack, like your HF linear amplifier or something going into transmit, or a high power VHF amplifier going into transmit, and that will then trigger this relay, and it's a changeover relay. Right, so the changeover relay is normally simply a center conductor, and then a changeover, which is fine. You can, and we can demonstrate that. But in addition, the center conductor on this is floating. Okay, at this point the center conductor is floating. So if you wanted an isolated output, so you've applied a press to torque signal here, you don't want any electrical conductivity through to this point, you're triggering a peripheral device, no problems. You just use it as it stands, and that will be fine. It will just do a changeover. So you can either, for a press to torque here, you could either have it normally open or normally closed, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute. But the other thing is, I've included to the center, you can either connect 0 volts by making a link, or plus 12 volts, and in this way you can then switch peripheral equipment. Now I used it because I have an SG Labs amplifier with a sensitive device in the front end, and I went on transmit, I think it was on VHF, and then I wasn't receiving anything on 23 centimeters at all, and a while later I realized the device had been blown. I then changed it out, and I sort of thought, well, how am I going to stop this happening again? And I built this circuit to do that. Okay, so here's the device, fairly simple. You can see it's got all the parts you need. So you've got, let's put it around this way, it's a bit easier to see. Here's your 12 volt relay. Because it's got a whole handle about 6 or 7 amps, it's quite a large relay, just a changeover. So you apply 12 volts at the input. These are the press to torque, so you've got a 0 volt or ground here, and then you can apply your press to torque to up to 3 inputs here. Any one of those, like an OR it's an OR function effectively, will then trigger this relay, and this is your switch over here, and these are your links. So you've got the link to 0 volts, and you've got a link to 12 volts, and that means that this instead of giving you this is just an output, by the way. You've got an output as well, so you've always got a constant output. If you want to power something continuously, or you want to power something off 12 volts here, and you want to switch it over to disconnect it when you're transmitting, you just use these connectors and use the links here to do it. So I'll demonstrate it working, and perhaps it'll be a bit more easy to understand. It's a very simple circuit, really. So what I've done is literally I've wired this one up, and you can see it's got the 12 volt input to it. You've got your press to torques, and this is literally looking at the relay contacts, making sure that it's basically the center contact, and they normally open. Obviously if you use that one, it'd be normally closed, right? So this will switch something up to 6 amps. So, and I'll show you that in a minute. So if we just operate the press to talk, we just do a short here, you'll see it's obviously lights the LED just to show it's working, and the bleep is just isn't on the units on my multimeter, just to say I've got a connection. So very simple. Now the 12 volts, as I said, let's turn this over and you'll see where the 12 volts comes. The 12 volts comes in and it uses this polyfuse, go through this polyfuse. So you could run a VHF transceiver or a preamplifier or any equipment that needed a bit of power off this, and what you would do is run it for 12 volts, normally closed, between the 0 volts here and normally closed, and of course while there's no press to talk, the unit would be switched on. The moment you applied the press to talk, of course it would change over and then disconnect the equipment while you're transmitting. And really that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to have to go around the shack, switch off my preamps and this, that and the other. You just have one of these or several of these and you've got an easy way of instantly just isolating sensitive equipment. And that's all really this does. It's a very cheap unit. It's all built surface mount, apart from the relay and this fairly large polyfuse on the back, and so on and so forth. And that's really it. Very short video, I guess, but I'm hoping that gives you some sort of idea of how it works or what it does. These, like, I reflow these in my reflow oven, and they all get tested. If anybody's interested in one of these, get in touch. My my emails will be in the comments or the description section. Oh, and these, by the way, just so you can see closer, these are vestigials here, are just for if I wanted to automate the actual, there's another one there, I wanted to automate the pick and place, but that was a bit of sophistry that obviously I don't really need. I tend to manually, I have a solder mask I put over these, and then I manually place the components because there's not that many of them. But they will handle the 7 amps, if you know what I mean, switching if you need it to. Right, I think that's enough for that. Thank you for your time.